So you're ready to quit. But what's the process? What do you need to know before finally taking a plunge into a life of sobriety? Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Anoneet Sabharwal. I'm a Delhi-based psychiatrist with a decade-long experience in de-addiction, mental health and sexual health. Today I'm going to talk about how the de-addiction process works. The de-addiction process can broadly be divided into OPD-based, that is outpatient-based, or IPD-based, that is inpatient-based. Now, as a general rule, IPD-based treatment is far superior to OPD-based treatment, and this is because of the following advantages. Number one, the patient is under constant supervision, and therefore withdrawal symptoms are better monitored and managed. Number two, the patient experiences a change of environment, and so the cues that cause craving leading to relapse are simply not present. This causes the patient to get desensitized to those very cues. Number three, regular, intensive psychotherapy, particularly motivation enhancement therapy and cognitive behavior therapy, can be easily administered 2 to 3 times a week, and that's because the patient doesn't have to travel distances to meet the therapist. Number four, certain neuromodulation procedures such as TDCS or transcranial direct current stimulation and CES or cranial electrotherapy stimulation, which are used for craving management, can be administered daily. And that's again because there is no distance barrier between the de-addiction facility and the patient. Number five, a therapeutic environment in the IPD setting ensures that the patient interacts with others going through the same struggle, thereby drawing motivation to change from others. Number six, an IPD setup ensures a regular, balanced activity schedule and meal plan, which is essential to bring the patient back into the routine of daily life. And lastly, number seven, de-addiction can be emotionally taxing, and sometimes it is best to take some time off from loved ones. A de-addiction facility provides just that. In most facilities, family members are allowed no more than once a week to visit the patient, and this gives the patient time for self-reflection and self-discovery. Now that you're ready to get admitted to a de-addiction facility, you need to know what kind of facility suits you best. There are essentially two types of facilities. Number one is a psychiatric hospital, which offers physician-assisted withdrawal management or detoxification, along with psychotherapy and neuromodulation procedures such as TDCS or CES for craving. Now, a psychiatric hospital is the ideal setting to start the de-addiction process. A psychiatric hospital will admit you anywhere between 10 to 90 days depending on what substance you're addicted to and the extent of your dependence. As a general rule, always go for a comprehensive program that includes hospital stay with medications, psychotherapy, and neuromodulation, since a combination of these will almost always yield better results. Number two is a rehabilitation center. Here, the patient usually stays for 3 to 6 months after the initial detoxification and de-addiction is complete. Now, bear in mind that not all addicts need to stay at a rehab center. In a lot of cases, after a 30 to 90-day program at a psychiatric hospital, a home-based relapse prevention program is enough. Now, in rehab centers, the focus is predominantly on finding purpose and learning to deal with life sober. Let's focus on the gold standard for detoxification and de-addiction, and that is a psychiatric hospital-based comprehensive program. I'm now going to take you step by step into what you should expect once you've decided to enroll yourself. Step one is an OPD-based consult with your psychiatrist. In this visit, your psychiatrist will take your detailed history and, depending on your case and its severity, advise you inpatient treatment. Step 2. Before admission, a toxicology report for all patients is mandatory. Along with this, your psychiatrist will also order a full panel of investigations, including ECG, without which you cannot be admitted. The reason for this is, while starting any detoxification medications, these investigation reports are necessary, and that's for patient safety. Step 3. Once admitted, the detoxification and de-addiction process starts. The first step is to make sure you're comfortable with your new home for the next month. Keep your valuables to a minimum, since no hospital will take any responsibility for thefts. Also, make sure to ask the management if they allow cell phones and other gadgets, since some hospitals do and others do not. Step 4. Your psychiatrist by now will have likely started you on withdrawal management medications, and you're probably already feeling better now. Expect some initial side effects with the medicines, but if they're intolerable, make sure to contact your nurse or doctor immediately. Step 5. Your investigation reports are available by the day after admission and assessed by a general physician who you'll also consult to make sure everything's okay physically. If you have any pre-existing conditions like diabetes, heart disease, or hypertension, this is the time to tell the physician, because the physician will then medicate you accordingly. Step 6, you will now meet your counselor, who will in the first session take your detailed history to formulate a case report. This first contact with the counselor is the most important, since this forms the basis of your entire treatment course. So make sure you're open and honest while telling your story. Step 7, based on your case report, your psychiatrist will now initiate you on the neuromodulation procedure that suits you best. Now note that these neuromodulation procedures are not just used for craving management, but also used for anxiety, depression, insomnia, and a host of other psychiatric issues. With neuromodulation, you can expect an amplified response to your existing treatment. Step 8, you likely have a regular schedule of the medical management of your condition, but still not a regular schedule of the activities you should be doing to make your time at the facility productive and worthwhile. This activity scheduling must be a joint exercise between you and your counselor, your doctor, the attending staff nurse, and also other allied staff at the facility. Try to make friends with other patients at the facility and strengthen your resolve to change. Step 9. Once the initial detoxification is complete, you will then be initiated on anti-craving medicines. Now, these anti-craving medicines can be oral tablets or implants. Oral anti-craving medicines are usually prescribed for a period of 6 to 12 months, whereas implants are administered in the lower abdominal area about 1 to 2 times, with each implant having a lasting effect of up to 6 months. Remember that although implants are more expensive than oral medicines, implants are the gold standard when it comes to substance craving. The other advantage with implants is that you really don't need to take any other anti-craving medicines while the implant is still in your system. Step 10, you are now discharged from the facility and have 2 options. Either continue home-based relapse prevention with regular OPD follow-ups and psychotherapies, or get admitted to a rehab facility for another 3 to 6 months. Now, although people have a lower relapse rate if they take the time to get admitted to a rehab facility, most people simply cannot afford 6 months worth of time and money to get admitted to a rehab. If you choose to go for home-based relapse prevention methods, you will have to consult your psychiatrist and counselor regularly to keep your substance use at bay. Okay, so this brings me to the end of the video. Thank you for watching this video till the end. If you're looking for an extraordinary detoxification and de-addiction facility for yourself or your loved ones, look at the Happy Tree for their unique 10-day, 20-day, and 30-day programs. Their phone number is as below. Take care of yourselves.